do not have Infernal Pregniter. Not quite sure what you're doing, Deth. Already made me mad once with that Thor drop. Possibly not a good idea to mass Hellion. Well, let's take a quick look. I might be wrong. I mean, I think they do work great versus Infester, but I mean, the Roach. I mean, it's gonna be like trying to set a brick wall on fire. Just not quite the best thing. We do see the Greater Spire down, so looks like he will be getting Broodlords pretty soon, huh? Interesting. Corruptor's already down, more than enough to take care of the flimsy amount of Vikings that are right here. Although they can be kited, in the event of a massive battle, he will have no choice but to back up and give the air control to the Zerg player Artosis. I do have quite a few Lings here, always good to have those around. Do not see the metabolic boost upgraded still, so those are quite useless. Oh, and there it goes. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Doing pretty good right there. Looks like he is going to be sending a couple of Vikings up here. Wow, Artosis is taking both of the island expansions. Not quite sure if that's a great idea, as it will take time to saturate those expansions, while he could opt to use his ground forces to take the gold, which is basically almost worth 2 of those bases. The Vikings do land and are going to teach the Spore Colony a lesson, but they're going to get roached, and they got to get out of there, and he loses a Viking. Oh, that's got to suck. Possibly take the Overlord out. It's kind of close to the Spore Crawler, but he doesn't, so, well, whatever. Viking down here is going to harass his Overlord, should kill this one. Overlord accepting its fate, which should be coming imminently any time soon. There we go, and it explodes. So Deth does know what's going on with the island expansions. Not looking too great for Artosis. But that does free up the field. I mean, if Artosis had pushed up, taking this expansion and this expansion, it would be a lot easier to defend. But looks like old buddy Deth over here is going to be doing the building command center in his natural, going to be expanding somewhere, possibly over here, possibly down here. Would like him to be able to see to get the gold. Oh, making 2, so I guess he will be taking both the gold and the expansion to the left of his base. We'll be dropping down a Thor down here. Let's see if he's doing anything funny up here. He is taking 2 tanks, tanking 2 tanks up to the upper left expansion. We'll be taking that out, and the Thor will be more than enough to deal with these measly forces right here. Tank is dropping down right now, taking out that processing Vespene Geyser. Going to kill that Queen, as the Queen is targeting that instead of tanks. Bad choice, but there wasn't much he could have done unless Artosis was paying attention to both bases at the same time. Roach is looking a little wary, can get 3-shot by that Thor, and it most likely will unless he backs up. Queen, pretty much the same position. Bam, 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 and it's gone. Followed by the hatchery. Followed by the hatchery up here. It looks like a tank just barely escaped. Poor Artosis just lost both of his expansions. Not looking like a good investment right now. Tanks are going to be taking all of that out, but the Zerglings will be anti-tank as they will surround the tanks and utterly destroy them, leaving Deth wondering, what the hell, why did I drop those off? Corruptors look like they are going to be coming up here fairly soon. Thor just going beast mode, not afraid of anything, blowing up everything in its path. Medevac is dropping down now. Corruptor's going to just kind of like hover around, take a minimum amount of damage as they'll laugh as the Thor is stranded here with no help whatsoever. Deth is grabbing that mineral expansion right now, going for an orbital command. Not exactly the greatest thing I could say, but if he wants orbital command, Deth is more than welcome to get orbital command, as I would probably go for a planetary fortress in that position, as it was quite close to enemy's base. Ooh, making some action right here for the first time ever. Hellions moving in, just making mincemeat of those roaches, or of those Zerglings. Fresh barbecue, but it does disappear into the abyssal unknowns. No one quite knows what goes on when a Zergling burns to a crisp, possibly blows away in the dust, leaving no bones or anything whatsoever. It looks like Artosis is turtling in his base, afraid to go out. Not quite sure what he's going to do with all these Broodlords, as he does have the superior anti-air to the Vikings, so there is going to be a very not quite the best position. Would not have the Hellions up in front. But they do finally have the Infernal Preigniter upgrade. Here goes the Mineral Parasite taking control of the Thors. All of the Broodlings going to be swarming around, taking out all of those forces. Looks like it's going to be a losing battle, as those Thors do take quite a while to take out the Broodlords, as they have a massive amount of HP compared to Thor's damage, which is not that great versus anything with heavy armor. So they're going to have no choice but to run. Tanks aren't getting targeted as much as the Thors are, as they do cost less. But he does make it out alive with a couple Thor, going back to his base, realizing he is in quite the predicament, as he will be needing reinforcements fairly soon, dropping down a bunch of factory. He does realize this at the same time as I do. Going to need a lot more anti-air to deal with those Broodlords, and definitely the Corrupt Army floating ever so menacingly behind them. SCV is coming off the line to repair. The Thors will get it there just in time. Perfect. But the Thor is going to go down, as the Broodlings are surrounding the Thor, preventing it from being repaired. Or possibly Jimmy does not know what he's talking about, as they are making a great stride to keep that Thor alive. Great job by Deth, keeping it that much longer for the fight, taking down those Broodlords. But the tanks are doing, or the Thors are doing exactly what they should not be doing, which is focusing on the tiny ground troops. Need to get those Hellions in there to just make complete mincemeat of those Broodlings, which I take back everything I said earlier about Deth being a complete utter moron, and massing Hellions in this situation, as they are doing great versus Broodlings, as they just